Flash mob dance. Flash mob dance. Come. They can hear us. Jig.
They need more signs. They went like that. What are they going to do?
Well, that was fun. I got all these.
Thank you.
We're all falling down.
I go on a Boxing Day line.
Okay. Not many. I don't know where Young
Okay, here we go. Good afternoon, Hamilton. Welcome to CUPE Local 5167, Wednesday's Woes Wages Rally. It's great to see so many members and labor activists. I can't express how important today is. The union's bargaining team thanks each and every one of you. We all know the cost of living has skyrocketed, while wages have lagged behind for years, decades really. CUPE Local 5 and 167 merged to create 5167 at the turn of the century. To create the 5th largest CUPE local in the province. Workers have rallied and fought for 105 years to better this collective agreement. Nothing is just given. We have fought for it, and we must continue to fight for a fair wage and benefits. So when I say, what do we want, you're going to say wages. When I say, when do we want it, you're going to say now. And when I say, our city, you're going to say, your union, or our union. So here we go. What do we want?
Wages!
When do we want them?
Now!
Our city?
Our union!
One more time. What do we want?
Wages!
When do we want them?
Now!
Our city?
Our union!
Yeah, here we go, So we're grateful to have each speaker that has joined us today. We stand in solidarity. It is my honor to introduce our first speaker, a friend of labor and a friend that has repeatedly shown up for CUPE Local 5167, someone who is always there for his community. Federal MP from Hamilton Central, Matthew Green.
Let's try the sound check one more time from the back. When I say the workers united, you say we'll never be defeated. The workers united!
We'll never be defeated!
The workers united!
We'll never be defeated!
Our city!
Our union!
Our city!
Our union!
Our city!
Our union!
What an honor and privilege it is for me to be here with you today. I might get a little bit emotional today. because behind my desk I have this photo, this portrait. And I'd be remiss in this moment if I didn't say that Sister Rose McGowan would be very proud of this local. Rosie would be proud. She probably would have been the first one here. She would have been setting up, and she would have been up in the council giving them hell. And I'm here today as a proud member of Parliament, as a proud New Democrat, the only Labour Party in this country. But before I was a member of Parliament, and before I was a New Democrat, I was a city councillor. And I got a chance to see up close and firsthand the lifeblood of this city, the frontline workers who make this work, the people who make sure that each and every day this city rolls and it functions. And I've sat around that table in tough times. And I'll tell you this. I was having a conversation and one of the workers said, is this going to matter today? Is us showing up in this courtyard going to make a difference on their decision making today? And my answer to you is absolutely. Your decision to be here is going to impact their decision in the bargaining days ahead. Because the only way that worker-friendly policies and worker-friendly contracts can pass in city halls and legislatures and in parliaments is if people who make decisions know that the working class, led by organized labor, is going to be militant enough that if push comes to shove, you will withdraw your labor from capital and you will shut it down. So we're going to practice something. You talked about your wages. All you're asking for is fairness. When management negotiates for fairness, they get it. When you negotiate for fairness, you have to be reminded by this next saying. If we don't get it, you're going to say, shut it down. If we don't get it, shut it down. If we don't get it, shut it down. If we don't get it, shut it down. Now let me tell you something. Before I was a city councillor, I was born and raised in this city. And I know so many of you from growing up. I know the heart and soul that you put into your work, the pride that you have for this city, the public service that you provide, the service leadership that you provide Hamiltonians day out, every single day, day in and day out. And here's what's important to know. That if you didn't find it important enough to be here today, if you're wondering what that might look like, if they didn't have the threat of you shutting it down, if they didn't have the fear of a militant and organized working class, then all the downloading from the Doug Ford government, sitting on $22 billion in surplus, shame. The decisions that the municipality has to make, that absent of this day here today, they would absolutely steamroll you, and they would absolutely make sure that the recovery, the so-called financial recovery, happens on the backs of the working class. And here's what I need you to know as somebody who spent 10 years working with residents in this city, from the most vulnerable people who have been forced out into tents to people who just want to take their kids to hockey or basketball or the local library, that if they don't find a fair deal, that what's going to happen isn't just going to happen to you, that the impacts are going to go and be felt across this entire city. And we know it's going to impact the most vulnerable first. So here's the deal. This is what I need from you as a call to action. You know what's at stake right now. You know what's on the table. It's important that you continue to have those conversations with your friends and your families and your neighbors, because there is a lot of confusion right now. There are a lot of people on the far right who want to pit working class against each other. There are a lot of people on the right in this moment of populism who want to come after the public sector. who want to take away from you rather than add to what the private sector has. And this is my message to you. Have those conversations with your friends and neighbors. Let them know that when you fight for a fair deal for CUPE in this local today, that's going to result in a fair deal for them tomorrow. And know this, that no matter where you stand, New Democrats will stand alongside you. The workers united!
Will never be defeated!
The workers united!
Will never be defeated!
I appreciate each and every one of y'all. I love you guys. Keep fighting that fight and let them know that you're serious.
Thank you so much, Matthew. Our next speaker is Hamilton District Labor Council President Anthony Marco. He is a labor fixture in the community. HDLC leads and organizes the yearly Hamilton Labor Day Parade and is always on site supporting workers and community members.
Sisters, brothers, and comrades, what a great day for a rally, isn't it? You know, it's really rare that a group of workers this large can get together on the property that they work on, but guess what? This is your property. This is all of Hamilton's property. This is a place where we come to speak our mind, to protest. And Jay just said, we do Labor Day every year. Guess who works Labor Day every year? 5167. We do Day of Mourning in this City Hall every year. Guess who's working those nights? CUPE 5167, exactly. So much that happens in this city on the backs of other labor groups gets done because of 5167 members. So I want to thank you on an annual basis, on a weekly basis, for all that you do for labor in this community, because you might not necessarily be thanked all the time, but a lot of what we do is because of you. So I want to thank you for that, because you share your services with a lot of other groups. I want to talk about your employer. I'm not going to mention anyone specifically. I'm just going to say your employer, because your employer is no different than any other employer. They're looking for efficiencies, so what do? They cut jobs. They're looking to keep things cheap, so what do? They lowball you. They're doing concession bargaining. None of this is acceptable. None of this is acceptable anywhere for any employer. But the fact that the people on this courtyard right now, and the people at home who are your allies, voted some of these people in, they need to make sure that they are calling those people every single day and saying, wages need to be higher, we need to be able to afford the cost of living, we need to be able to be proud for this city that we work for, and that element of pride comes from respect. You want respect, you want wages, and you're damn well going to get them if you show up like this every single time, I can tell you that much. You know, Matthew was talking about, it doesn't matter if you show up here. Imagine what this place would have looked like if you didn't show up here. What a message that would have sent to the management here. If they looked out here and saw 20 people standing out here, this is a message. But I'll tell you what else is a message. This city was born on the back of unions and organized labor. And you have to know that every single union in this city is going to have your backs if you need to make that ultimate choice to hit the bricks and shut this city down. Because if they're not willing to pay you what you deserve, that's what you're going to have to do. This is the threat. Make everybody here an offer that is decent, that keeps up with inflation, that makes sure that shows that you're respected. Make sure that they show that they respect the work that you're doing for this city. You make this city go. You can damn well make this city stop if you want it to. I just want to say this. I had a talk with Jay and Jody a couple of weeks ago, because you can imagine, as the Labor Council president, who's in charge of Labor Day, one of the questions that I had is, well, we know what happens if there's a strike. If there's a strike, seat committee is going to shut down all the special events. And I said, well, you know what? We might need the seat committee approval to have a parade and a picnic at the park, but we certainly don't need the seat committee approval to march, and we don't need the seat committee approval to have a protest right back here again on Labor Day. So you can be damn well sure that if 10,000 people are marching on Labor Day, they're going to be marching right here to support you. Because that's all we do in this city. We stand by each other, side by side, raising our fists saying, solidarity, solidarity, solidarity forever, sisters and brothers. Fight on.
Thank you, Anthony. Awesome. Don't forget, I'll mention it later, you need to have your picket form in by tomorrow to our office. They're available here after and on the website. You may remember the face of 55,000 CUPE education workers that hit the streets in November, demanding better wages and better working conditions. Doug Ford tried to stomp on CUPE union members, and they stood up and said no. And we won. Please join me in welcoming CUPE Ontario's School Board Council of Unions President, Laura Walton.
Well, look at this. You know, the only thing hotter today, the only thing hotter in the province of Ontario and across this country is the worker power that is building and pushing back on our bosses like you are here today in Hamilton, and I am here to turn up the heat with you. So, you know, I want to thank Jay, first of all, for having us here, and I just want to do a shout out because there are many education workers that were on those streets, from 4153 who are here today, from 3396 who are here today, from 2544 who are here today. And the reason that they're here today is because when we needed you, you showed up for us, and when you need us, we're going to be there for you. And I want to send a very clear message. Not just to your employer, but to every single employer out there, including Doug Ford, including Stephen Lecce. You mess with one group of workers, you mess with every single one of us. It doesn't matter whether you are in the trades. It doesn't matter if you're in the public sector. It doesn't matter if you're in the private sector. When they mess with one of us, they mess with all of us. And that is how we are going to lift workers up in this province, and we're going to keep going. So mark my words, if you need to hit those streets because your employer is not willing to give you what you need, rest assured, those brave education workers from 4153, from 3396, from 2544, they're going to be out there with you, loud and proud, until you get what you need. Solidarity!
Thank you, Laura. ATU 107 is the city's bus and transit system. And I'm going to turn it over to John Canino and Eric.
We're shutting your brother's shop down. And so then the money shut down. But we had another. It wasn't just.
Sorry. I heard all we're asking for is support.
Tell the younger guys.
But no, my wife's too, like, she likes to drink and stuff.
Because the only thing the NFL is doing.
I have to go.